How's it going, guys? Okay, so this is a new tutorial on a really cool Max for Live plugin I've just discovered called Loop Flip. I made this actually in about 5 minutes. Have a listen to this.
This is going out to anybody who might be able to relate to what I've been going through.
Okay, cool. So basically, what Loop Flip does is I'll open it up. Loop Flip. Loop Flip essentially uses clips, audio clips from your session view, and it randomizes them into different positions and creates different sequences from them. It's really cool, really good way of getting creative and filling out your grooves with some really cool percussions, or in this case I've created a percussion layer, which is this, albeit a little bit sort of rough around the edges. I only threw some loops in, then a bass line, which together sounds like this. It's quite a cool little sort of driving groove. So what I'll do is I'll strip everything back, I'll delete everything, and I'll show you from scratch how to use this plugin. It's really cool. I'm going to leave the kick and a little drum top in there just to save time. I'll get rid of that vocal as well. Okay, so open up session view, create some audio tracks. Loop Flip allows for 8 clips to be randomized, so I'm just going to create 8. Okay, and then what you want to do is, depending on how you want to use Loop Flip, maybe you want to use it for a bass line, or if you want to use it for some kind of percussions, or you can maybe even use it for some kind of melodic polyrhythms. There's a cool video on my YouTube actually about polyrhythms. I'd recommend watching that if you're interested in creating polyrhythms. So let's just have a little play around. Let's play with some bass ideas. So what I did was, before, I've got quite a lot of bass sounds. Okay, so I want a bunch of random stuff, to be honest. That makes it a little bit more interesting. Let's choose, I don't know how many there are. If you highlight a bunch of clips, hold it over the session view and hit Command, it will stick them all in different clips. Get rid of that one actually. Okay, cool. Now all you need to do is drag your Loop Flip onto part of the project after the session clips. I'm just going to put it underneath, and then what it's done is it's loaded all the tracks, and now you can hit generate. If you open up the arrangement view and hit generate, now it'll stick them in different sections. I like to click on 2 because that has a longer loop, and then you can start generating some stuff. So let's okay, it sounds quite cool already. I'm going to add a bit of swing. I like swing on my tracks, so I'm going to do 3. Such a cool little plugin. Right, let me just minimize so it's a little bit neater. Do the same with these. Okay. Right, I'm just going to group all the bass sounds, and then I'm going to add a little bit of compression and sidechain just to really sort of gel them together, because essentially they're going to sound a little bit disconnected. I'm going to add my sidechain on there as well. Obviously you want to make sure that all your clips have oh, let me just open them up. Yeah, you want to make sure that all your clips are warped. You know, if you're playing with certain clips that maybe have a gap in front of them, the loop's obviously going to sound quite strange. Let's generate some different ideas. I like to change the density so that it's a little bit shorter. Not sure why it's not generating for me all of a sudden. Let me just stick loop clip back on. I think I've done something, like I've obviously messed with something. Let's try again. Let's put swing back on. So density changes the sort of frequency of the notes within the plugin. Rotate's really cool. So if you like the sounds that are used in the plugin, you can use rotate, and what it does is it moves through the loop. It's almost like adjusting the clip offset on, you know, in like a MIDI track. If you've got a loop and you can adjust the loop, so it plays from different points, but in the same length. So creating like so obviously the sounds I've used are a little bit more on the subby side. I'm not entirely sure what these buttons do. Okay, that's quite cool. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate it. It's important to remember that loop flip always adjusts the first tracks in the session view from what I gather. So I'm just going to duplicate it, and the track I want to adjust is going to be in the group above. So I'm just going to delete loop flip out of there just for sort of like keeping things clean. And then I'm going to add some new clips into the top part of this session view. So I'm just going to click perk and see what we've got. These could be quite cool. Let's try these. Same again, hold it over, hold command. There's too many clips there. 15 down to whatever. Cool. Now open up loop flip, reload the tracks, and then hit generate. Let's see what happens. I'm going to go back to 2. Put the swing on. I'm going to have the density down a little bit. Let's generate again. Sounds alright. I mean, the sounds I've chosen are not the best. Let's see what other sounds we've got. This could be cool. Now I might have to adjust these because they're loops. So let's just see what happens. Go back to loop flip, reload the tracks in, and then hit generate. Now, if you do exit notes, they're going to be longer, so the loops are going to play longer. But you need to remember that the loops have to be in time, obviously, it will sound terrible. So I'm just going to go in and manually change that. And then you can go on and obviously start adding some processing just to gel it all together nice. A little bit of reverb, probably be quite nice. I like to add some modulation. One of my favourite plugins for that at the moment is the Sound Toys stuff. So Phase Mistress is pretty cool. Now I'm just going to create a new bass line. Let's just see what happens. I'm going to use some subtones this time. Just, you know, because the percussion's quite nice. Got like a tech house kind of vibe to it. So just going to drag loop flip up to this group. And then I'm going to reload tracks. And then I'm going to generate. Obviously, you want to be careful. There's a lot of clipping. When I say clipping, I don't mean clipping, you know, like distorting. I mean clipping as in there's some clicks and stuff at the beginning and ends of some of these subby clips, which happens a lot. So what I would do there is just add a little bit of a filter. Okay, cool. Let's just play around a little bit more. Let's just see what can happen. See what we can do. I'm just going to duplicate that, delete everything from that track. I'm just going to get rid of loop flip. I just want to do it just so I know exactly what groups are in which. And I'm just going to try some like synth notes. I don't know if I can create any. This might be a little bit hit and miss, but let's just see what happens. Okay, let's loop flip it, generate. Have I somehow messed with the... Yeah, I've been adjusting the... I guess it just adjusts... It just randomizes the first 8 clips in the session view. So I've obviously put 6 in there, and then it's doing the 2 in the subgroup, which is a little bit annoying. Let's try some different sounds. That is a hell of a sound. Reload the tracks, generate. Just bear in mind that it is a Max for Live device, so they're not the most solid of plugins. Sometimes they don't fully load all the way through to the 16 bars, but I'm just going to change the density. I've no idea what that align tracks is. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what that is. I think monophonic might be quite a good thing to put on, because then all the notes are playing on their own without any overlap. If you wanted to change the overall pitch of everything as well, you could go in to the clips and then just drop everything down a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, that note there is a little bit delayed, so it's causing that little trill. Do you know what you could actually do as well? You could go in and create an audio track. I would resample this particular loop down to audio, and then you can maybe go in and do some fine tuning on the timing. So let's just try that. Okay, we got that down there. Let's just mute that track now. I'm just going to just join it all, Command J, and then I'm going to 16th note it, and I'm going to warp everything automatically, and then I'm going to add the swing. I think that bit there just needs... I think I'm just going to mute that little section, because I think it's the artifact on the audio warping sounds pretty awful. So loop flip is essentially done there. I don't need that anymore. I can actually go and put this back in if I wanted to. And then put that somewhere else. Of course, it's a different clip. Let's just remove it all. So I've created something quite cool using loop flip there, and this is the loop. Let's just add a little bit of delay on it. Sounds pretty cool. I would definitely recommend this plugin. I think it's definitely a great way to get creative with some sounds. And what I would do, this I've kind of just winged this video. I've not prepared any sounds or anything. I probably should, but I think it's good for you to see like my process on trial and error, and then how I sort of overcome. Like for example, overcome some of the glitches within the audio tracks, and then bouncing it down and trying different things, trying different sub sounds. There's a lot of possibilities with this. You could use it with chord stabs and it could generate chord sequences. Hi-hats, different hi-hats, grooves. Yeah, let's just have a little play with a hi-hat groove thing. Okay, let's just create some new audio tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just do 6, 7, 8. I'm just going to do 8 so it doesn't affect any of the other parts. Okay, let's just get some hats in here then. Might sound a little bit strange, but let's just have a little play around. Okay, I'm going to add a MIDI track, and then I'm going to add loop flip. Now I really hope it's not going to affect any other sounds here. Reload the tracks, generate. Let's get rid of that. Add your swing. I have 3 on this one. Yeah, it's wicked. It's a really cool plugin. So now I've got that sort of hi-hat loop all sort of sequenced, ready to go, and then I'll probably just delete loop flip, and then I can just loop that throughout the whole track, and then I can make some adjustments as I please as I go along. It's really, really cool. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities with this. I think I'll do a video part 2 on this, just to showcase some different variations. It could be cool to play in some melodies yourself on a keyboard, and then just drag those melodies in to loop flip and see what it generates. I think it'll create some nice rhythms. But yeah, cool. All right, I'm going to try not to keep my videos. I'm going to try and keep my videos short because they always tend to be quite long. This one's half an hour long, which is not too bad. But I hope that was inspiring and helpful. Really cool plugin. The guys are making some nice stuff. So give it a shot and let me know how you get on. All right, guys. Speak to you soon. Ciao.